everyone. Today we are going to share some light on the Tao of transformation. In Chinese language, there is no word called as God. Like we treat across the world. God in the form of an image, in the form of a belief system, in the form of light, in the form of a mystery, the masters of ancient China calls the universal harmony as God. The order that is existing in the nature that balances itself in a very enigmatic way is called as God for them. The natural order, the natural harmony that governs itself. No one or nothing is really required for this governance. It is a self-governing system. This system is called as God in the ancient China. How this order and harmony balances itself. For example, if you take human body as nature, we are also units of nature, vast universe, right? If you take human body as a unit of nature, we have got different types of cells in different types of organs, ranging from the smooth muscle of small intestine to the hardest osteocyte of the bones and teeth and enamel. Diamond hard like enamel and very soft like smooth muscle of small intestine. Every cell is different. Though every basic unit is called a cell. Why it is called a cell? Like we have a cellular jail. Cell means tiny unit which has a border and which has a center called as nucleus is called as cell. That's why we call cellular jail, right? Because they resemble human cells. These cells in different organs work in tandem, work in unison, in a very interdependent way, so as to keep the harmony of the body, otherwise called as health. Harmony of the body is called as health. Any disturbance in this harmony is called as ill health. That ill health has got numerous manifestations depending upon the organ that is affected. One cell or one organ that is affected has got impact or influence on every which cell of the physical body. So the entire body, that means entire organs of the body, in coalition with each other, fight against the forces of resistance inside the physical body in the form of producing antibodies, in the form of producing immunity, in the form of bringing the harmony back. This entire mechanism is called as homeostasis, a self-governing health management of the physical body, individual physical body, is technically called as homeostasis mechanism. Like we have homeostasis mechanism in the physical body, we have got a mysterious mechanism equally working in a similar way, but yet differently, to keep the planets, to keep the stars, to keep all the meteorites and asteroids and all the debris of the space in its place without causing any significant damage. If at all there is a damage, that is for the benefit of something more bigger. What is homeostasis in the physical body can be called as the harmony in the universe. This harmony or this homeostasis at individual level is called as the God, otherwise called as Tao, which exactly means the way, which exactly means the path. Because this homeostasis or the harmony cannot be verbally defined. Like we cannot define or describe the word health, though we understand it. We cannot describe the word hunger. Is there anyone in the world who can describe the word hunger? How do you describe? Is it a pain? Is it a pang, hunger pangs? Is it an urge? Is it some inner disturbance, craving for food? How do you describe it? Whatever description that you give falls short of the whole. Am I right? Whatever that you speak is only a part of it, can never be the whole. Similarly, if you try to describe and define the harmony of the nature, the harmony of the ecosystem in larger sense, or the harmony of entire universe, even more larger sense, is beyond the capacity and boundaries of language. That's why it is called ineffable, that which cannot be described. Confucius says, if you try to describe, it can never be that. It can never be total. You may give description for the sake of comprehension, for the sake of communication, for the sake of mutual understandability. But
Sir, video. Sir, audio and video, sir.
Maybe power cut was there. Let's wait.
Okay, is this English session or Telugu session?
This is English.
Okay, okay. It will take some time.
Usually it should be quick. Let's wait.
What is the topic? The Tao of transformation.
Host, maybe you can guide everyone into quick meditation till Dr. Yugandhar is back. Maybe that's nice instead of just waiting.
Okay. The world host. The world united. Sorry.
Friends, just a moment. Give me 2 minutes. I'm calling. I'm conferencing, sir.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, just 2 minutes. You can just close your eyes and sit in meditation. Just I'll be joining with sir.
questions. And hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Envision, sir.
Yeah, we will take up some questions, and I think that's the best way, because what happens is the record will be really difficult if I receive.
Yeah, it's audible. It's audible. So yeah.
Okay. Can you please ask questions, dear friends? Any questions? Sir can take now.
That may be better way right now.
Anybody have questions? You want to ask? Raise your hand, or you can type. Narendra Anumala is asking how to experience Tao.
How to experience Tao? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Tao, as I told, is something which cannot be defined, something which cannot be describable, but only experienced, only understandable. What to understand as Tao becomes a part of you. You means the whole consciousness, the whole harmony, the whole order lying inside you, the whole of consciousness that which you are made up of. Experiencing Tao is possible for any human being who decloaks himself. Human being, the very word human being, is one who is a being or consciousness that is engulfed by, encompassed by, encircled by humus, the mud. This mud is otherwise called as the mind. Declouding means removing this cloud which covers the truth. And truth is nothing but Tao. Truth is nothing but the inner harmony. Truth is nothing but the power that holds you. Truth is nothing but the power which internalizes you. So the only precursor, the only prerequisite to understand and experience Tao is to decloud oneself. Declouding means removing the mind in all its forms, in all its tactics and tantrums, in all its mental gymnastics and acrobatics, in the form of various images and concepts, in the form of various postulates and paradigms, in the form of variable forms of understanding, that which are known to you. When you can remove all that which is known to you, understanding of Tao begins. Tao is nothing but the center of your being, the core of your being, the core of the truth, which is harmonizing every individual, everything that is existing, physically and non-physically. And this core of the being can be understood only through the mode of silence, inner silence. Beingness is absolute silent phenomena. Inner evolution is nothing but moving towards the silence. Tao is experienced only in the form of silence and nothing else. And when the silence is very deep within, the silence too can be understood or experienced in the form of a sound. Sound emerging from silence looks much ironical. A sound that is emerging from silence is called as the primordial sound, and anahatanasa. Some people experience in the form of sound. The masters of Tao experience in the form of sound. A deep sound. The sound of Om, whatever you call it. The peace sound or sound of Om is the sound of the harmony, the inner harmony. And it is not a theoretical affair. It is an experiential affair. When you are living at a place where you are very much safe, secure, much familiar, much acclimatized, nothing strange in it, you start feeling a type of humming sound. Many of you must have experienced this. That humming sound is the sound of that inner silence. That humming sound is the sound of that harmony. When you are absolutely comfortable with yourself, you will start feeling that buzz, a silent buzz of the harmony. Different people experience Tao in different ways. One is the sound. Tao is experienced in the form of insight. When the sight is within, when the vision is within, when the eyes take a just within, when the movement moves from outer to inner, the insight emerges. Insight is an idea. Insight is a feeling. Insight is a grand truth. But this comes from within. It is not dependent on various types of knowledge bank available in the world. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it audible?
Yes, yes, yes. All good, sir.
I'm also visible.
I'm also visible.
Let's cut the call, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Am I visible?
Sir, your voice is not audible.
My voice is not audible. Okay, now?
No, sir, actually.
Not much?
Oh, yeah, yes, sorry. It's my side.
Okay.
Okay. Good, sir. Yeah, please go ahead.
So what are we talking about? Okay.
You're explaining
Tau,
about the
understandable.
answer the question about Tao.
So when I'm saying about what am I talking about, a conversation with Albert Einstein and Werner Heisenberg. You know Werner Heisenberg, a scientist who propounded the principle, uncertainty principle. One of the greatest propounders of the science the way we know. The forefathers of quantum mechanics, one of the forefathers of quantum science, Max Planck, Albert Einstein, Werner Heisenberg. And it is said now that after the demise of Werner Heisenberg, we lost the science. That is the greatness of Werner Heisenberg. He says, if you focus on the position and speed of electron, if you focus on position, you cannot catch the speed. If you focus on speed, you can't catch the position. Only one thing is possible. The second cannot be. Though the speed and position is functioning from the element of harmony, it is perceivable only as a single unit, never as a whole. Einstein went to a bar and asked the bartender, "2 glasses of beer." The bartender said, "Sir, you are only one. The second glass is meant for whom?" Einstein told, "It is for Heisenberg." "Where is he, sir?" asked the bartender. Then Albert Einstein said, "He is and he is not there." Because the people of this stature, the casual events, casual meetings are also serious phenomena. He wants to explain to the bartender about the principle and personality of Werner Heisenberg. Both are walking together in a park, Heisenberg and Albert Einstein. They were discussing about quantum mechanics very seriously. Suddenly a gap like this came. Albert Einstein asked, "Where are we now?" Heisenberg said, "I'm not sure." The answer is not a simple casual answer, "I'm not sure." He means that when you are saying something, you are stuck up there. I cannot remember. As unsure of you, I am. That's what his answer. So it's only for fun I'm saying. That means what I'm trying to say is, if you are in individual consciousness, you cannot catch hold of universal consciousness. If you are in universal consciousness, you cannot identify yourself as individual consciousness. When you are in a certain frequency, which is denser or subtle, whatsoever it may be, and still you are tentacled to another frequency, you can only perceive only one frequency of the truth. Only one dimension of the truth, depending upon the most dominating frequency that you are tentacled with. All the other frequencies are not available to you simultaneously. So Tao has to be experienced from which frequency you are, depending upon the level of depth of inner silence that you are experiencing within. Understanding of anything depends upon what you are inside. Am I right? Understanding of anything in the world is directly proportional to what you are inside and what you are not as well. So Thou, or harmony, or the truth, or the core of consciousness, or dharma, or Jan, or Advaita. Advaita means there is no second one, everything is one. That is symbol of thou, right? The merging of lower and higher, the merging of left and right, the merging of intellect and intuition, merging of all opposites, merging of all polarities, merging of all pluralities, merging of seemingly opposite things, merging of all self-antagonizing things. This truth lies in this merger. Merger of yourself has to happen inside. When this merging process begins, you will be dissolved. You means what you think you are is dissolved. What you think you are gets dissolved only to lead to what you ought to be, what you actually are, that emerges quite by default, effortlessly. This effortless emergence of the truth that comes within is the only way to experience Tao, or the harmony, at an individual level, at a universal level. The major problem with human beings is to make oneself silent. That's the basic step. We are stuck up at the very first step, preliminary step. In fact, that is a preliminary and the most advanced step. How to get silent? How to experience silence? How is it possible to experience silence? We are quite used to sounds of thoughts, the noise of the chaos. We acclimatize ourselves with the familiarity of the mental conflicts. We acclimatize with the familiarity of the inner clutter, the inner dialogue, the inner chat. We're acclimatized. Without that, we do not feel that we are that. Without that, we feel that we are alien totally. We are new to us, incomprehensible, ununderstandable. Our own self becomes ununderstandable. When we can leave all that is familiar, everything that is accustomed, everything that is acclimatized, everything that is comfortable, everything that is inessential, then the harmony unfolds. You don't have to do anything. It unfolds. It opens itself. That's the key. Coming out of the familiarity of these inessential phenomena is the key to unfolding process. But the human beings cannot be satisfied with this because they are stuck on the preliminary step, which is also the advanced. How to become inner silent? There is a basic step where we are absolutely stuck up. Rest is only nonsense. We want how to go within. We're obsessed. The first step to go within, to understand the silence, is inner ease. People do not know how to be easy with oneself because of this familiarity with inessential phenomena. A child is absolutely easy with himself. while the adults are horrific tragedies in their psychological strata. Maybe spending time with children, spending time with people who are silent within, only to understand silence. Maybe spending time with nature makes you increasingly watchful. If at all there is a practice of understanding Tao, it is only the art and science of watching. Watching. How do you watch? How do you watch a sunrise? Is there any technique? How do you watch Niagara waterfalls? Is there a technique? We are so restless that we have forgotten the meaning of watchfulness. We don't know how to enjoy the nature. We have lost it. We have become metallic. This metal has to dampen. A burning point is required. A boiling point is required. The more metallic we are, more we have to boil inside. More heat is required. Even 99 degrees of heat cannot boil the water. 99 degrees also cannot boil the water. Water will never become vapor at 99 degrees centigrade. 99.9 degrees centigrade also, it doesn't become vapor. The transformation doesn't happen. The transformation of Tao doesn't happen even at 99.9 degrees centigrade. But that 0.1 degree, the master stroke, makes you understand the change in form. The change in form is called as transformation. The metallic nature of this mind melts through the melting point of efforts, melting point of your intent. It requires something called as perseverance. Albert Einstein talks about perseverance like this. Perseverance is like postage stamp. The job of the postage stamp is to stick to the envelope till it reaches its destiny. Till it reaches its destiny, it has to stick to the paper. Till you reach the destiny of understanding Tao, you have to stick to it. Are we that much serious understanding of Tao? We spend time only for killing it. We live lives only for overindulgence in the visible things. Abstinence from the vital. Indulgence in the inessential things. That's what human beings are most often. This phenomena has to be reversed. Indulgence in essential phenomena. Perseverance to the core. These are the attributes a human being needs so as to become the master of Tao. We run after techniques. We want techniques always. We want tools. We want the modus operandi. We want the mechanism of action. We want some shortcut. We always need a method, describable method, to go within. Though method helps the very beginning stage, he who goes beyond the method can understand. The rest of all, talk about that, but can never understand. A voice emerging from this inner silence, a voice emerging from Dao, will be like what I am saying right now. The art and science of inner ease, the first step. Once the inner ease is mastered, once a person knows how to relax physically and mentally, emotionally, when he knows how to be relaxed inside, he goes within. Let me talk of technique. People are obsessed with technique. You speak of everything without technique, that is useless to human beings. Technique. We want a serious obsession with techniques. For people who are very rigid mentally, who are very confused mentally, of course, confusion is a mental phenomena, who are very agitated inside, I ask them to spend time in Makarasana. Right forearm like this. Keep your forehead on your forearm. Lie prone as long as you can. Maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 15 minutes. One forearm or the other. Keep your forehead. Just lie down. That's all. Doing nothing. No technique. Just lie down. People will not be happy if I say, oh, once lying in prone position, you will understand silence. Yes, you can understand silence. Just lying prone. Try. Try. Right now you can try. Just lie prone. Forearm over another. Someone is putting some question here. When you lie prone in this position with forehead onto the forearm, the breath moves easily. You will start understanding the flow of breath, which you have not experienced earlier. Sure. Such a simple method, which you have not experienced earlier as adult. The breath is very much easy now. The breath doesn't have any turbulence. The breath doesn't have any gap and pause. The breath doesn't have any jerks in it. And it is abdominal in nature. It is internal in nature. It is visceral in nature. Even if you want to take breath through the chest, it doesn't happen. When forehead is connected to the forearm, diaphragm starts working. The merger muscle starts working. The merger. Diaphragm separates thorax and abdomen, chest and abdomen. That starts working. Ana, the inhalation turns into prana. prana and apana turns into samana. That is Dao. Samana is Dao. When the breath is a continuum, without differentiation between whether it is inhalation or exhalation, the gaps in between, when it is a continuum, inseparable whole, when it turns into inseparable whole, that is called as samana. The state of the samana makes you understand this harmony. Just lie prone. It is so easy to lie prone and be watchful of your breath. Spend as much time as you can, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. This is called as Makarasana, crocodile pose. Crocodile is the ventral aspect, I mean, the lower side of the crocodile is soft, vulnerable. The upper layer is, dorsal area is hard. You cannot kill a crocodile from above downwards. From below, yes, you can kill a crocodile, soft. Above, we are rigid, metallic. We have to approach from softer side. To make you softer, try this position, Makarasana, posture. Crocodile posture, crocodile pose. Just lie prone. One forearm for the other, left, right over the left. Keep your forehead like this. Prone, completely the chest, abdomen, knees, dorsum of the feet touching the ground, feet shoulder apart. The breath becomes equanimous breath. The breath turns into a pranic breath. The breath takes Taoistic breath. The breath of harmony starts. We don't know even how to breathe. We don't know how to breathe. Lungs are breathing. We are not breathing. If breathing becomes a totally voluntary phenomena, if breathing becomes totally, absolutely voluntary phenomena, with cessation of all involuntary mechanisms, cessation of all involuntary aspects of breathing, in no time we become masters. Every time you take a breath, it becomes a voluntary phenomena. Suppose, imagine. Your entire consciousness goes there. Your entire consciousness moves into it. But the nature, harmony knows that human beings are idiots. That's why the breath has been both a voluntary and involuntary mechanism. It is a combination of both. Unlike heartbeat, which is involuntary phenomena. Unlike any atomic systems, which is involuntary phenomena, breath is the only system, both voluntary and involuntary. You can forcefully take breath, effortfully take breath, effortlessly also without your knowledge, without your consciousness. Though you don't want to breathe, though you're sleeping, breath happens. Because the nature knows that human beings are idiots. But he who knows how to breathe, when you breathe, you become a master. When lungs breathe, you become an idiot. That is the only difference. When you breathe, you means you the consciousness breathe. When you turn ana into prana, when you merge these two into samana, that is the Taoistic breathing. The breath of harmony begins. The breath of harmony only leads to understanding harmony. That's all, nothing else. Understanding inner silence.
Yes, sir, this is Lakshmi, sir. I have one question. Can you hear me? Hello?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, actually, yes, you explained me about the silence and it was really very understandable. The thing was actually the silencing the mind. sometimes the getting a state of like inner easiness is a very difficult, sir, especially when we travel from our normal circumstances to another atmosphere, like based on the country. If, for example, when we grow up in the same atmosphere, and from there to if you travel to another atmosphere, then we are going to be facing many issues, like in the mind layers, especially like subconscious layers and the unconscious layers of the particular place. How we can make in that situations, how can we calm ourselves, like how can be in the position of silencing the mind, and how we can cope up with the maintaining the inner easiness. This was the question, because this is I faced when I traveled from India to Germany, especially. This was a problem I faced when we are traveling from one country atmosphere to another country atmosphere, sir. Hello?
First point is,
Yeah.
First point is the sense of awe, the sense of wonderment, the sense of appreciating things, sense of beauty, sense of aesthetics. Just a second. I'm back.
Okay.
Sir is joining again.
So, the sense of wonderment, a childlike wonderment, we have lost as adults. A child doesn't know what is Germany, what is India. Forget about child. A bird, suppose.
Okay.
A bird migrating from New Zealand to India, following the energy lines. He doesn't know where he is going. He doesn't know whether he belongs to India or New Zealand, because he doesn't know geography or topography. He knows only one thing. It is to follow the energy lines, following the instincts. Just a second.
Yeah. It is not the question of country. It is not question of moving from one place to another place. That is a problem. The problem is losing the sense of wonderment. Inability to leave the familiarity. We always want to be attached to familiarity. That which is familiar makes us feel comfortable. That is the biggest problem with human beings. We want to be tethered always, like an elephant tethered to the stone. That gives a vast feeling of comfort. That gives a feeling of living in a natural habitat. Even if the elephant is unchained, it doesn't go out because it lost the sense of wonderment, lost that instincts to wonder. The strength of any human being is to be passionately curious, says Albert Einstein. To be passionately curious. If you lose curiosity, curiosity for what? Curiosity for unknown. curiosity to explore, curiosity to peep into the unfamiliar. A few people have taken this as an opportunity to explore the unfathomable depths of unfamiliarity. They become masters of their lives. You're talking about Germany, right? A boy was born in Germany approximately 140 years back. Went to formal school, had some formal education. He was not liked by the teachers, he was not liked by the parents, he was not liked by any of his friends on the school, off the school. His life appeared as a failure to his father, who himself is a big failure in all his businesses. Who was jobless? This boy was jobless for 9 years. Married. Produced world-class papers. Rejected. Only to be awarded Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921 for photoelectric effect, and this boy is known as Albert Einstein. Jobless for 9 years. Papers produced on photoelectric effect, papers produced theory of relativity, were rejected worldwide, except one guy by name Max Planck, the father of quantum physics. A book was written against him, 100 physicists against Einstein. Book was authored by his co-Nobel laureates to exhibit their racism for Jews, to exhibit their disharmony for Jews. In this situation, a threat on his life, the FBI behind him for 22 years, whole life, thinking that he's a spy from Russia. Under the radar of FBI, every phone call was checked. Every piece of paper in this trash can was examined. 1400 pages report was produced at the time of his death. But he never lost his childlike curiosity. A master, a spiritual master of highest sense. My big namaskar to him, Albert Einstein, a great spiritual master. Not just a physicist, the way the world knows. The only difference between Albert Einstein and any person who is called a human being is curiosity, sense of wonderment, nothing else. He himself admits, nothing else, really nothing else. My formal education is my hindrance, says Einstein. My education is my hindrance. My education is very hindrance of my learning. Exploring the unfamiliarity of Germany, exploring the unfamiliarity of Italy, exploring the unfamiliarity of Eastern Islands. With full awe and wonderment. It is as easy as what I am speaking. It is not as difficult as I am speaking. It is as easy as I am speaking. Becoming a child is answered. Becoming a child is exploring the Tao. Bringing back your curiosity levels. Becoming curious once again. Becoming a child once again. Exploring Tao, the harmony once again. It is not lost. It is forgotten, that's all. It is not forbidden. It is not formidable. This paradise can be regained. It has never been lost. It is inside, inherent, very much coherent. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I will take only questions now today. We are already past 4 o'clock. If you
One more,
maybe
one more question. One more question from Sohanji. So, how to be maintaining silence in physical and spiritual world?
When you can merge these two worlds, when you start feeling the same in these two worlds, when you don't see these two worlds separately, when you actually try to bring coherence and unison between these two worlds, seemingly different worlds, which are actually not, because the same consciousness is flowing within and without. When you can rise to this truth, when all your activities are based on the consciousness instead of mind, when staying internalized becomes your habit, when staying connected becomes your second skin, staying connected with oneself becomes your second skin, these two worlds become one. And it is not difficult. It is as easy as I'm saying. Not falling to the gravitational forces of the social reality. Social reality is the biggest gravitational force. This force always pulls you down, never brings you up. Keep your spiritual reality strong. Keeping yourself internalized, making it as a habit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you very much.
Any more questions?
Any more friends? Any more questions? Can type in or raise your hand. Somebody from iPhone? Any question?
Yeah, Meena, thank you. Thank you for all the wisdom. I have a question. How does one stay connected with oneself when one is in social surroundings all the time?
The body is always in social surroundings, but you should not be. You are not physical body. You are deep down the consciousness, a deeper, vaster, powerful consciousness, the God's consciousness. You are basically that. A paradigm shift from the familiarity to unfamiliarity. A paradigm shift from outer world to inner world is required. This paradigm shift is possible with just lying down prone. Practice, please. I told a method. Please practice that. See that the breath happens in your abdomen. See that the inner ease happens within you. Wherever you are, in whatever geography and topography, when you are within, least interested to come out from your core, because that is a real Celestine abode. Everyone has that. That core, that is otherwise called as the hara, the center of your being, otherwise called as the Tao. Transformation happens. Transformation means movement from a denser form to a subtle form. Water becomes vapor. Vaporization of the mind has to happen. The vaporization of the rigid belief system has to happen. The vaporization starts emerging with understanding Tao, just lie prone. One forearm or the other, forehead to forearm, just lie down, doing nothing. And just be watchful of what is happening. Whatever that is simple comes from God, says Albert Einstein. It is very simple. The simplest things always come from God. That is God's voice, the Udgita, the voice of the silence.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, we'll pack up this session, Rajshekhar.
Yes, sir. Unless any questions, we can close. If you want, you can continue, sir. 1 more hour is there.
I will not continue.
That's
Sir,
okay. Sohanji, you want any question?
yeah. How to bring back curiosity into our life? The last question.
How to enjoy life? If I asked you the question, how to enjoy life, what would be your answer?
Because I'm doing meditation since 6 months. So before that, I am not feeling enjoyable. Now I felt very enjoy after doing this. So I think this is enjoy.
Without meditation, you can't enjoy life.
No, I don't think so. Even if we see any material objects in the life, like money or fame or anything, so it is, I'm not feeling anything to enjoy. When I do meditation, I felt very happy. So in that sense, this is enjoyable.
If you ask a fish in the water, are you happy? He gets confused. Is there anything called as happiness or unhappiness? He knows only happy, nothing else. If you ask a child, what is sadness? It doesn't know what is sadness. You were also a child once, right?
Yes, yes.
Curiosity is your natural element. You are not away from curiosity.
Yes.
So we are obsessed with the techniques, tools.
Yes, yes. Shortcuts. Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Okay, Rajshekhar, we will catch up coming Saturday.
Yes, sir. Sure,
what
sir.
time? What time?
We'll keep afternoon, sir. I mean, your Indian time, 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m. is fine with me. So Saturday, we'll keep Saturday 6 p.m. as a regular meet for 1 or 1.5 hours. So that will be enough. So next Saturday's topic will be IMED, Intent, Meditation, Energy Conservation, Detachment. IMED, IMED. That is the topic of the week. So we'll speak something more. I would have taken more interest to speak more on Dao. Definitely will speak more on Dao. I will speak a lot on the masters of ancient China, the Confucius, Lao Tzu, Mencius, Huozi, Mozi. There are so many Neo-Confucian masters. So I will speak on every master, Chuang-Tzu, all these people and their wisdom, and all the known ancient masters of China. They explored Dao like anything. They explored curiosity like anything. They explored mergers of the world like anything. They explored harmony like anything. So definitely speak, taking them as a cue. I will speak elaborately, extensively on Dao. Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much, sir.
Thank
Thanks
you,
all.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.